With Iran, Tehran has rejected a U.S. proposal to end the fighting. Iranian officials are mocking President Trump's search for a deal. Meanwhile, the bombing continues. Just look at this video showing an Iranian cluster bomb blowing up a car in Israel and sending it flying. Holly Williams is in Tel Aviv. Holly, good morning.
Good morning, Nate. President Trump claimed in a social media post this morning that Iranian negotiators are begging the U.S. to make a deal, even as they publicly deny that. Trump also warned Iran to, quote, get serious soon before it's too late.
Iran has its own conditions for stopping the war, according to the country's state media. Those include an end to, quote, aggression and assassinations, as well as a demand for reparations. We do not intend to negotiate, said Iran's foreign minister, and no negotiations have taken place. Yet last night, President Trump repeated his claim that Iran's leaders were eager to end the war.
And they want to make a deal so badly, but they're afraid to say it because they figure they'll be killed by their own people.
Is it possible that the Iranians actually want to do a ceasefire deal, but publicly they're talking tough?
That might be. I mean, they are being decimated.
Retired General Amir Avivi served in Israel's military for 30 years.
There will be a point where they have to surrender. I mean, the combination of taking out all their leaders, destroying every single industry they have, and also closing the Iranian economy, will bring them to the point where they will have to surrender unconditionally and accept that.
With whose money, man? Israel always has this attitude of like the spoiled rich kid that's bullying all the other kids in the playground, and they only get to do so because of their daddy's money. It's crazy. It's like, are you going to do that? Do you have the capabilities without American support? What can you do? Nothing. It's unbelievable how much these guys flex. Have you looked at the markets? No, I don't look at fake shit, dude. What do you mean?
But President Trump is also under pressure to end the conflict. After nearly a month of war, the Iranian regime is weakened, yet still functioning. Even under fire, it's shown it can paralyze oil shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, with global economic consequences.
There's speculation that the U.S. could use ground troops to seize control of Iran's Karg Island, through which the Iranians export around 90% of their oil. Now, that would pile more economic pressure on the Iranian regime. But one big question is whether the Iranian leadership would rather do a deal for their survival or die fighting. Vlad.
Holly Williams in Israel for us. Thank you, Holly.
Day 27 of the Iran war, President Trump claims to have obliterated Iran's military capability.
And he said that 27 times. Well, he said that 2,700 times because he says it like 100 times a day, and it's been 27 days. It doesn't really mean much, does it? Considering that there is no negotiations, at least like Iran has sent out their demands, and Trump keeps following along with whatever Iran is doing and trying to make it seem like he actually made these demands ahead of time and Iran is following their pressure when that's not the case. There's never been a moment where like the leader of the free world, right? Which is something you don't really see or hear anymore from people. Have you guys noticed that? The leader of the free world. That's how we used to refer to American presidents. The arrogance. Oh my God. There's never been a moment where like the American empire's king, God King, the American president, has been so thoroughly humiliated. It's actually unbelievable.
But there's no evidence on the ground that Iran is ever close to actually capitulating just yet. Yesterday, we looked at the US strategy for this war. Let's now look at what the Iranian strategy might be. What we are seeing is no let-up in Iranian attacks against its neighbours. But the key element here is there's two different wars going on. The US are conducting a war of choice. They're a superpower, and they are systematically using conventional military action against Iran and writing it down. For the Iranians, this is a war of national survival, completely different. They therefore are the David to America's Goliath. They've been planning for this for 35 years, and they've got to combat American quality with quantity. And that explains why so many drones are being used in this conflict.
People love an underdog story. People love an underdog story. So it's pretty hard to look at the situation as anything but like the underdog kind of actually pushing back against the bully for once. Because like, I'm not a hater of Americans. I believe in the notion of American prosperity. I believe that we have tremendous potential. We're just not using it because, unfortunately, this system of capitalism is designed to follow along the agendas and the profit interests of capital accumulation and continuing to expand profit margins. So we've been very violent. We've been very bloody. And it's not necessarily been beneficial for the regular American citizens in general. But ultimately, you don't have to be an America hater. You can be an American and recognize that we are the bullies around the world, right? And now you got a situation where one of the people that we thought we could mercilessly whip around and bully is fighting back and actually succeeding. It's hard to look at that situation as one where you feel kind of sad and humiliated. Maybe some do, but I guess the people that would most likely feel a sense of humiliation in this moment are cattle and therefore are reading a totally alternative set of realities and events. So the ones who would normally be mad, the people that would normally be frustrated, angry, and say, oh, these guys are embarrassing us, nuke them now, they think the war efforts are going well because they're in the Trump cult. And the rest of the normal Americans who are not in the Trump cult are looking at the situation and going, why are we doing this? You really think they're not literally going to quadruple down? We'll see. The real problem here is not America necessarily. I mean, America is always a problem. It's the great Satan. If America's the great Satan, Israel's the little Satan, is what they say, and that side of the world, right? But like America, in my opinion, has less ambition to destroy Iran and has more to lose than Israel does. Because I think Israel has lost the capability of conducting sober analysis. They're just seeing red. And for that reason, they will endlessly try to spoil any off-ramp that America might get, that it might want to take. So that's why from day one, I've said, America has to cut Israel out of this equation. They have to release Israel. They have to say, no, you're done. We're cutting you out. The American government has to remember that they hold the cards. At least, maybe not holding the cards in this tit for tat back and forth with Iran, but they are the large partner, and Israel is the junior partner in this coalition. And the faster they remember that, and the faster they cut Israel out of the equation and demand restraint from Israel, the easier things will be.
Now, America has no appetite for boots on the ground. Iran knows that, and therefore this war is all about an air war. It's all about control of the air. Now, you might imagine that's all about fighter jets. That's clearly a part of it. But it's also about airborne early warning. It's about command and control. It's about battle space management. One of the key areas here is that during the 12-day war in June last year, Iran very effectively targeted a really crucial American radar site that's associated with all of the high-end Patriot, THAAD and Aegis missile systems. You can see the before and after systems here. Now, this radar system, there's only 6 of these operational in the world. Iran was able to take out one of them. Likewise, during the period of the war so far, in the last 27 days, Iran's also targeted the THAAD radar missile system. THAAD. There's only 10 of those available in the world. 4 of those,
I believe 11 is the actual number, but regardless, yeah,
have been taken out. 40% have been damaged. Now,
and there's only, let's say there's 10, right? There's only 10, and there's only 1,000 missiles for it. So these are very limited capabilities. And Iran has not only degraded these defensive capabilities, but they've also destroyed the stockpiles. I mean, they've depleted the stockpiles.
Air war, Iran has had slightly less success. America has lost quite a few aircraft, 16, we believe, but actually very few of those as a result of Iranian action. Apparently, it was infrared missiles that targeted an F-35, but we understand the aircraft did land safely, and although the pilot and aircraft appeared to get some damage, they were able to survive. The Iranians have managed to take out 9 MQ-9 unmanned Reapers, including one on the ground. The Americans have lost a KC-135 aircraft, but that looks like a tragic accident where 2 aircraft hit each other, losing, unfortunately, all of the crew on board. And America has also lost 3 F-15s, but that was all by a Kuwaiti F-18 that managed to shoot all of them down. Where the Iranians have had more success is in the use of drones. And particularly, there's a good example here in Iraq, on a US military base where the Iranians have used a drone to target a Black Hawk helicopter. And the crucial part about this message is that the drone is probably only a few $1,000s worth, whereas the Black Hawk helicopter is tens of millions of dollars and takes a long time to replace. The key here is that President Trump is fighting a conventional military campaign, whereas for Iran, they've just got to survive, they've got to gain leverage and then be in a position to have some strength in negotiations. And that's why the Straits of Hormuz is such a crucial part of this war. At the moment, the Iranians control this. There's no easy American solution to resolve that. And that's probably what explains why President Trump's getting increasingly erratic with his broadcasts on social media, particularly Truth Social. In summary, the US military campaign in Iran is definitely achieving results. It's breaking a lot of stuff and it's being celebrated by President Trump. But the Iranian strategy, as the underdog, appears to be one at the moment that is going to prevail.
I have some optimism that we might learn an important lesson here. We might be forced to demonstrate restraint in the future. We might have to think twice. Or in the best case scenario, we might have to retreat. And that's a good thing.